protesting.
Yes.
It's good?
We're good.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Let's thank our Creator real quick for the things we got, Mr. Ashton.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for this day, Lord. We thank you for this week and this year, Lord. We just ask that tonight you would be with us, help us to get through this meeting, Lord, and do things in the city that promote you and show our character, your character through us, Lord. Be with us tonight, in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance, Ms. Proctor. While you're up there, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ma'am. We sure killed some trees today.
We're down to 42 minutes.
All right. Public Works. Mr. Dore, it's your show.
I will now open Public Works. Let the records show that we have a quorum. And under action item, well, first we have Public Works Director Albert John.
Good evening. Just want to bring y'all up to date on a couple of items. We had the auction took place last month, and it seemed to go really well. So, Mayor says we're not going to wait as long or that many items in the future. So hopefully we can have a couple, at least a couple, a year. Other thing is I want to bring you up to date on that pole on the Interstate 10. I told you it was knocked down. The contractor came last Thursday. He met with Wes, and he seemed to think we had a pole that may work and a norm. We won't know till it gets pulled out. When it does, I'll call him back in to inspect it and see. The sweeper's working well. We don't have a driver, but I've been informed that Mr. Jacob has somebody in mind.
We're working on it.
So,
Yeah, I just got to
Look, Albert, Steve made a comment here. I just want to say that the last time I was on it, last week I think it was, I got a very ugly look from Mr. Harold Gonzalez. He said it's always been a dream of his to drive the street sweeper. And so I asked him if he needed a job. He said, if I can get in it, I'm not.
Well, Ms. Katie made a good point. She said there's probably a cement truck driver who's looking for a job as a street sweeper driver.
I have I have one other thing. It's early, but mosquito season is going to be here within 7 to 10 weeks. I'm beginning to train a new driver. I brought him out when we did a spray around the park on Friday before last, or what is it in the park? Greetings. So I'm going to start taking him out. Mayor and I spoke. I'm going to try to take him for an hour and a half, a couple days a week, up to the time we really start. So get him used to the route, not the spraying, but we're not going to be doing any spraying until last week in May to the second week in June. That's usually when we start. That's all going to depend on the weather. So he will ride with me when we do start full swing spraying. And y'all just bear with us because he's going to be learning. You know, if you guys have constituents that say, oh, I didn't see him, be sure to have them call City Hall, make a work order. Because the next night he's going out, that's the first place he's going. So, That's all I have. Any questions?
Albert, for the mosquito spraying, just for some of the council that may not know, kind of explain how it's done and how you keep track of it, as far as for speed of the truck, the times that they're out there, how much is being sprayed, the route, and all of those good things.
First of all, when I have a droplet test done, they're calibrated, set for 20 miles an hour. It's the max. Okay, so when I'm mixing chemical, I have a formulation that I use depending on the amount of mosquitoes that are out. Because you guys know that you go out and you'll have mosquitoes and all of a sudden they're real bad, that's because they pop. So by increasing the mix of the chemical and the oil, I increase the amount of chemical that's going out per acre. That's how it's gauged. There's a log sheet that the driver fills out when he starts. He fills out when he stops. It has mileage. There's also a meter on the machine. So when he's done, and the next day when I'm logging that into my computer, I can determine his average speed and how many miles he traveled. And then, like I say, the flow rate is always the same. I try to set it at 7.5, so that means it's spraying 7.5 ounces a minute, which comes out to, I think it's 3.4 something gallons an hour we're spraying when we're out there. So, that's basically how we determine how much he sprayed and where he sprayed. The zones, when we're spraying the city once a week, it's broken down into 3 zones. And I think you were here last year. A couple of you were here last year. We usually start with Zone 2, which Zone 2 is from 2nd Street to Northern Avenue, all from east to west. Zone 3 is from Northern Avenue all the way to the bridge. Zone 1 is from 2nd Street all the way to East West Hoyt and Lubbock. So that's how that goes. When we go to spraying later in the season, when we're going to spray the city twice a week, we're going to split that in half. And the halves are from Lovell, East West Hoyt, to East and West Hutchinson. And the second half of it is from East and West Hutchinson all the way to the bridge. Now, before last year, I always had 2 drivers, so I had 4 zones. I had everything south of the tracks, east of Parkinson Avenue, that was Zone 2. Everything west was Zone 1. And that came up to East and West Hutchinson on both sides. And then it was Zones 3 and 4 took in the rest of it. But we don't have 2 drivers. So it was all it did was make shorter time period for each driver that was spraying. Because it takes about 8.5 hours to cover the whole city. Last year, I have some numbers I can give you. Last year, we sprayed a total of 2,829.3 street miles. And we sprayed a total of 216.6 hours, and this average speed was 13.39 miles an hour. When I say that I have the machine, when I figure the number, if it's 00191, and we want to put out a little more, 002, say 39, because we can't exceed 0.00750 in a 72-hour period. That's of a pound. So what we can do, the city's out there spraying 17 miles an hour. All we have to do is adjust the speed down. So if you've got chemical coming out, a certain amount of chemical coming out at 17 miles an hour, Well, if you slow down to 13 miles an hour, you're covering the same distance in a longer period of time. There's more chemical coming out. So that increases the rate. But that's how it's done. Any questions?
Now, but how efficient is it in getting the coverage into the yard areas? How about, how?
Well, what's gonna happen is these machines, these nozzles have a 300-foot swath. Okay? So when it comes out of that nozzle, it's going 150 feet one way, 150 feet the other. Well, what's gonna happen is you have canopy. It's not going through that canopy. So it's gonna linger, because we're talking about a droplet that's 19 microns, from 15 to 19 microns. If you were to pull a strand of hair out, the average size of that is between 75 and 100 microns. So you can imagine how small that mist is, okay? And what happens, it allows it, and with perfect weather conditions, you can see it sit there. Because the chemical has to hit the mosquitoes to kill them. It's not a barrier spray. It's an adulticide. But what happens when you get to those situations where you have canopies, it's not going to get there. Now, maybe from the next street, if the trees aren't there, yes, it'll float some. But it's not going to get under your carport, it's not going to get under any canopies, it's up in the air, and it's coming in. So,
And
that's the nature of the beast.
And the other point is that, I don't know if you mentioned it or not, maybe I missed it, but it's only, east and west, not north and south.
What happens, and you notice this in the summertime, your wind's gonna be out southeast, southwest, or south, always. So, the city is structured perfectly because it's 300-foot blocks. So, you're going down one street, it's going 150 feet one way or the other. You have to have some wind. It's not good for zero. You can't do it exceeding 10 miles an hour wind, okay? So what happens is, let's say it's 8 miles an hour. You're going down one street, well, you're gonna get a little more drift over this way. But when you come back down this way, you've got the shorter drift that meets the next to 300. So that's the reason we go, it's because of the wind direction that it's always east and west. Very, very few times that will spray any of the avenues. We'll spray in some areas because we've got to. That's the only way we can get in there and get around to get to the other place, to the other location. So,
And spraying east and west and north and south is illegal.
oh, well, it's double cover. Because what's happening is all you're doing, the only thing what you're doing is when you're going down that street, it's drifting in the middle of the avenue on both ways. So you come back, you're putting out twice as much, and if we get into a mix that's high, we can't do it. Now, labels the law. We have to follow the labels.
Albert is the employee who holds the license for the city to be able to spray this stuff.
As the state says, it's not licensed, it's certificate.
Our certification, right, my bad.
Yeah.
We do have, Tim, do you have the same? Yeah.
Yes.
So Tim Prater also has the same because of wastewater. But really and truly, Albert, that's why Albert oversees the employees, and that's why he knows, because he's certified to know that stuff. And we operate under his certification.
It's been a long time. Any other questions?
Thank you, Albert.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I tell you what, you covered it all. There's a lot of questions I always had, but I just never thought to ask you, Next, do we have anything to report from Mr. Mayor? He's not here.
No, sir. Mr. Mayor is sick. He felt it. he feels better today, but he felt it important not to, come and share his, experiences with everyone, so.
We all appreciate
He's gonna skip today's.
we all appreciate that. Street Commissioner Wesley Jacobs.
All right, everyone. This month we had 52 work orders. Grass again is in full effect. 14 trees. We cut out a cluster of trees off a tent by the park next to the fire training ground. So we cut out a whole cluster of trees on that one. Culverts and ditches being dug went down a little bit this month because we had a clean city. We stayed on a clean city route for about 2 weeks. We started hitting it before the clean city came up, so we slowed down a little bit with the big ditches. But we had approximately 1,000 feet of culverts cleaned, about 1,400 of ditches being dug. We installed 80 feet of new culverts. Catch basins, we poured another 4. One driveway we got poured. We had one accident. We had one of the manhole lids, and the guys picked it up. And when we rode around, landed on the toe. It wasn't severe enough to go to the hospital, but I did report it. Because as the mayor and I talked, I'm trying to get my guys to be able to be required to rest irritable because something always can happen. So that was we're gonna call it a near miss, but I reported it anyway. As far as Mr. Mater, we did have the dry wells in Hutchinson and 17th rehomed. They did that yesterday. So they went up to the 8-inch instead of the 6. And then, I don't know if he finished today, but Michael is going back and all going down 12 foot. So if he did finish today, after this rain, we'll have a determination of if it's working or not. And also speaking of Mr. Mayor, also, they're just about ready to start on the First Street project. Centerpoint is finished up over there, so we good. I put on the news, I'm always leasing, I'm always leasing on the party, but I'm not asking for that today. And I actually got the PO for the scare. We decided to go with the Bobcat brand. Me and myself with the mayor, we had a meeting, discussed all the options, and going with Bobcat, we got more attachments. So I think it was 85 something, we never under 86, but I was able to get some more attachments to help do the job. For instance, when the concrete truck went down, laid concrete on the ground, we were scrambling like, you can't wash it. I got the skidder as a display, along from Bobcat with a sweep on it, but the mayor's like, no, we can't keep it dirty like that. But it would have been a perfect opportunity to have that angle go with it. We had firemen out there, and I commend them, they was out there, I got my guys from out there, it was with broom, sweeping everything, and sweeping up, so little stuff like that is gonna come in handy. I also went by the canal, when we talked about it in the previous meeting. I took a sidewinder to see how far we can cut it. We made a couple passes. It's bumpy. I don't feel too safe just yet to see if we can be able to do it all the time, but we did make a few passes. And I also got somebody going around to all of those junctions, what Mr. Mark was talking about, where it's a canal, but they have some sites. So we've been weeding and cutting around pretty much all of them. So it's been a work in progress. We've been hustling. And problem areas, I already talked about shingles. We did do parking lot here. We haven't got a bid on it yet. So other than that, that's it for me. Any questions?
Well, I just want to thank you for jumping on those grass. Got a lot. Appreciate that. And did you get any information from the police jury or the school board about the property?
No,
Not yet.
I didn't talk to them. I said, Mr. Brad hooked me up with drainage board, and I talked to them. Just my opinion, they just overwhelmed, just like we are. They don't have enough people to cover everything. And just, they think it's the drainage. I even went and helped them. We got a call. Walmart the drainage was backing up from the retention pond into their bays because the culvert right there at the interstate was stopped up. So I went and did it. I called them and I just went and stopped it. Ask for forgiveness, I guess.
Well, the way I look at it, they're about to be out of school, but they still have workers that works at the Head Start. Just trying to let them have some type of relief, that's all. So do whatever you can. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Thank you, man.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Wes.
Who got a question?
Oh, Buddha.
I want to thank Wes and his guys. They came yesterday, Wes? Yesterday, poured concrete at the fire station that we've been needing. And it cleaned up the back of the station and the side of the station. So thank you.
In the rain.
In the rain. In the
And
rain.
we knocked out the internet cable.
But thank you, Wes.
No extra charge for that.
Hey, it's teamwork, that's what they say. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wes.
Wesley. And, under action items, nothing, and, I will recess.
Thank you, sir. Utility Committee, Alderman Martin, you shall show.
Thank you, sir. Let's see, we're gonna go ahead. We got a former president. Tim Grady, you're up first, buddy. Well, looks like you're gonna be the only one up.
Good afternoon. The last 30 days, we've had 206 Louisiana one-call locate requests. 19 work orders were filed. We treated an estimated 58 million gallons of wastewater the last 30 days. We repaired a main sewer line on West 9th Street. We had flow through it, but not adequate flow. We had a 3 to 4 foot root ball that had lodged in that line. That was repaired, it's covered. We're having to change out, I passed out a little picture of a pump system. We're having to change out the foot, or it's a guide elbow to the bottom right. That attaches to the bottom of the wet well at the Hockaday pump station. We're going to change both of them out. One of them has broke a bolt, actually 2 bolts, and it caused the pump to lean over and not give us adequate flow coming into the force main. While we're there and repairing that one, we are removing the other one because there is a bolt that is separated. So while we have the hole plugged and there's no water coming in, we're going to change them both along with the guide, which is the piece right above that. That attaches to the pump, slides down the guide rails, and when it gets to the bottom, it latches over and seals the pump against the force main to move the water. But I just wanted to give you a little illustration. That's what's going to happen. We're hoping next week. We've got the parts arrived last Thursday. We're in touch with we have to get a bypass pump connected up. Usually it take about a day to have the entire project beginning to be done. And we shouldn't have any disruption of service for that area of the city. Other than that,
That's it?
yes, sir.
Anybody got any questions? Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Let's see, and the action items, approve partial payment estimate number 1 to Voluti, whatever, Incorporated, for the new ultraviolet disinfectant system at the wastewater treatment facility.
So moved.
It's offered,
I'll second.
it's offered, by Ms. Martin, second by Jeff. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. And, there's no discussion items, so we'll go ahead and recess.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Recreation, Alderman Ashley.
Recreation Committee will open, and we do have a quorum. First up will be our Recreation Director, Mr. Peter Kirsch.
Thanks, Tim. They don't work.
Tony's got some new ones. They gonna try on each other's backs.
Whatever it takes, right?
I have a couple pairs.
My wife's in the back, I'm not gonna hear any of this, I promise you. And by your advice, I printed it to large font, and I still can't read it. Baseball and softball season started last night for our youth rec programs, and it's gonna run through mid-May, this year. Our baseball day was this past Saturday. It was a huge success, and I'd like to thank all the parents, coaches, umpires, but most importantly, I'd like to thank the staff of the Tony Robichaux Sports Complex for their hard work and their dedication. You know, it's one thing to get the complex, but it's another thing to keep it, and where they're very dedicated to what they do, and they're invested in the project as much as anyone else. And so if you see those guys and gals in town, thank them, because I promise you, they're as proud of it as anybody else. They take ownership in it, and they're the reason we have what we have and why it's so successful. Our adult basketball spring session registration is open, and it'll be open up until the 18th. We will play that session at Martin Luther King, and that'll go May through June. Our tournament season is in full swing, and we're expecting about 45 teams coming in this weekend, and the tournament fund will last through mid-July. So, other than that, nothing new going on, so see y'all later. Any questions?
How much later?
Well,
October.
Never mind.
I do want one thing, thank Tim, not just for the glasses, but a couple of Friday nights ago, it was 6:30 to 7 o'clock. We had a situation with plumbing backing up, and we had some sewer backing up into the new restroom in Miller Stadium, coming up through the floor drains. It wasn't anything wrong with the restrooms. I want to make sure that Steve bold, it wasn't the new restroom. It was just a clog in the line. Try to get a plumber at 7 o'clock on a Friday night. So I reached out to Tim, and without hesitation, it was, hey, we'll take care of it. And within 30 minutes, I'll spare you, it was flowing. The stuff started flowing. So thanks, Tim, and your crew and your staff. So
Go ahead, Steph.
All right. Well, first of all, man, I want to thank you. When we first started together, you was ambitious and you took on a lot. Matter of fact, you used to bother the hell out of me. But I just want to say, I understand that you moving on for greener pastures. Well, I'm one person, if you go back on archives and I look at Jeff across there were many times inside this council chamber where I made a point, recreation is the only department that we have besides the judicial department that brings in revenue. Okay, you don't have no other department that brings in revenue. So West right now selling things, but, and one of the things I've talked to you about, and I would like to see that this council adopt some type of revenue share with that department. I spoke to a few people with Dale and May about it, and it says a gray area, but at the end of the day, the only reason why it's gray is because you gotta separate. I don't know what it's gonna take to keep the money, but if it takes money and we can find it, I hope you just rethink it. You know, I know you gotta take care of your family like everybody, but at the end of the day, I would hate to see you leave. So there's a way that we can keep you here, Mayor, look at the budget or whatever it may take. I don't think no department would have a problem with, taking care of recreation, knowing that the amount of money and the time that, is school put out there, okay? Like you said, most of their work is done and everybody else is going home for the day. And yet they get that 8 o'clock or what have you, and the little compensation that they get for overtime, you know, it's, some people would rather have family than money. But, I would ask that you give them a chance to, if possible, to try and come as close as possible to what you're going out there for before you leave us. And I would ask this council to, try if possible to appropriate or approve whatever we need to do. And I think doing, revenue sharing with the department is something that I think we need to look into. But I want to say, give us a chance, but, and thank you for all that you've done.
Thank you. I didn't, I did not seek other employment. I didn't want to go. I have to do what's best for my family.
Exactly.
For me to take more than what's fair would be an insult to the employees of that department. I'm not the reason it's successful. I'm not the reason it was built. I'm not the reason why it was built. I'm just a guy who's lucky enough to manage it. So, if there's anybody who deserves any of the reward that the city reaps from the benefit of the project, it's not the director. It's the people I mentioned earlier who maintain it. And if you want it to be successful in the future, I would ask that you do what you've always done, Steph, and everybody else in this council and mayor, is you support it. And you give whoever comes after me, and you give those employees the resources they need to make it the best that it can be, and keep it something Crowley's proud of. I'm proud of the work. I didn't do it. I just steered it. You, as a council, and the former council, and you as the mayor, and the former mayor, and you as the committee chair, I thank all of you, but you're the reason it got done. You blessed the finances, you blessed the idea, you saw the vision, you believed in me, and I will always be grateful, but it was not done for me. You did not vote for me, you voted for those kids, and you voted for this city. And that's what it was about. So Steph, I'm floored and honored and humbled that you would consider that I'm worthy, but I'm not. And it's not about money where I'm going. It's about a quality of life for my family. And I've said it privately, but I'll say it publicly tonight. It's not a knock. But there's nobody in this room, police chief, mayor, councilman, fire chief, public works, wastewater, street department, public job shouldn't affect your private life. And I have an obligation to my family that if I can provide a better quality of life, I have to. And if I can shield them from it, I will. They wear it. They've supported me, just like all of your family supports you. But I have an opportunity. You can offer me $1 million a year. I might say. But it's just a better opportunity. It's the next chapter. I'm not leaving Crowley. Crowley's going to be home. Crowley always was home. Even though I grew up in Lafayette, I found a way to always come home. Thank you all. It's been an honor. So the only thing that I ask is that we've put it on the map, keep it on the map, and continue the support you've always given. Thank you.
And just for the record, the revenue sharing would be from top down, in case anybody had any questions about that. Peter, I appreciate that. Thank you.
It really was nice to see those kids out there this weekend enjoying themselves, having a great time. Me and the mayor kind of rode around and, it was nice to see the families, engaging with their kids and their uncles.
Well, if I'd have known it was gonna be this emotional, I would have stayed home. And I just went to supper with you instead. But it was an honor being able to work with you.
Obviously, I have the same thing to say. Peter and I talked on many occasions, and look, this isn't a goodbye for Peter. Peter's not going anywhere. He's not gonna be a city employee anymore, but he's not going anywhere. And if he changes his phone number, I know where he lives, but, I've been joking with him the past week or so. I said, I don't know that I like you anymore. Having to search for and hire a new recreation director, but, look, he said it, and it's true, and in my email to you guys, I let you know, look, I've been a city employee for over 20 years. I've always been a civil service city employee, and it didn't matter every 4 years who was elected. And so I never had to worry every 4 years if the mayor was gonna be reelected, that was okay with me and approved of my work, or if a new one would come in and bring his own director in. And so, that's tough. That's tough to live through. And Peter found an opportunity to do something that he's gonna love doing. Again, still, within the sports arena, but, and he's gonna enjoy his job. And he doesn't have to live from election to election, and I truly believe that's one of the biggest deciding factors, and I can't blame him for that. But I will say that Peter has done a phenomenal job, and, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Whew. Okay, thank you for opening that up, Steph.
That's what I do, brother.
Hopefully, we can all just remember that we live in a generation where people think it's cool to bash people on Facebook and tell people's negatives on Facebook, but they forget that the person on the other side also has a heart and has feelings. But people don't know how to pick up a phone anymore. They just feel that it's better to hide behind a web.
And I'll say that is the truth, and that's part of the problem, but this decision was made before the latest Facebook thing.
Absolutely.
That had no bearing on this particular decision. I don't want him to get the credit for that.
Absolutely. So thank you, Peter. And Recreation Committee, recess.
Why you don't do Facebook? I don't do it.
He don't? He don't. All right, zoning and annexation, Alderman Reggie, please, sir.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. Mr. Mayor is not here. I don't have any action items, and I have no discussion items. Anything to come before zoning and annexation? I'll be quick and recess.
Thank you, sir. Let's see, public safety, Alderman Core, please.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Call on the Public Safety Committee.
begin with reports. Chief of Police Troy.
In the month of March, our officers handled 787 calls. In the TED program, they've been fairly busy. They issued 889 violations. From patrol, they issued 132 other violations and a total of 34 criminal arrests. And we'll just bring the other one up back at the end.
Sure. Any questions for Chief regarding his report? Okay, move on. Chief, from there.
Good afternoon. In March, the Crowley Fire Department had 58 calls. Of those calls, 6 of them was hazardous condition, 24 rescue and EMS calls, 17 false alarms, 2 structure fires, 2 good intent calls, and 7 service calls. Average response time, emergency-wise, if you look on the third page, was 2 minutes and 41 seconds, and without the emergency, non-emergency, it was 2 minutes and 37 seconds. One of them is 5 minutes and 46 seconds on the service call. We got the wrong address. It says to a different address. Fire Department, South Crowley, give you an update, South Crowley. We had the complete electrical service. The building was built in 49. We still had wires in the walls and switches from 49. They finished yesterday. We ran complete breaker panels. Every wire inside the building has been rerun. We got, instead of 5 breaker boxes, we got 1. So that work is complete. I'm still getting quotes on the South Crowley and the North Crowley to do the remodeling and the extension in North Crowley. And 2 weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago you signed a contract? 2 weeks ago, they signed a contract, the new squad truck. The money we got from the state, that's all right now. So I think that's pretty much it.
Let them know where the funding is coming from for the renovations and stuff like that.
The funding, remember the $600,000 that we got from the state, 350-ish is for the new squad truck, and the other 250 is going to be for the 2 subs. I'm thinking about 75,000 over there and about 125. So that's money from Act 397, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, excellent.
The North Crowley repairs include extending the engine bays so that the trucks
That's at Central
can fit.
can fit, because when we get the 2 new engines, that's supposed to be coming in September, that's gonna be the ones in the subs, they fit, but when the squad comes in, we're gonna take service engine 21 and make that our reserve, and that the truck won't fit in the station.
Because right now, the reserve pumper is a
1989,
89 Mac.
and it was in service last night and today.
That's the first run truck.
And we got issues with it, so, engine 5 had a blowout, so we got that fixed. Engine 3 is going to the shop now, because now it's got a radiator. So, it's something after another.
The funding that was received from the state that will provide the extension of that building.
Yes, sir.
Oh, great.
I'm hoping I can do everything and don't have to come ask for some more money, but, we wanna do it right.
Sure.
You know, the guys love Central, with the remodeling that we did at Central. Again, remember that money come from a grant that we received. And, South Crowley needs some TLC. It's been since, I think, 49 that station was built. And 2 years ago, I changed the roof. That was the original roof. Last year, we changed the windows. That was the original windows. You know, so it needs, it's a good station. We just need to take care of it, you know? So, other than that, I think if y'all have any questions, I think that's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Chief. Next, we'll have City Inspector Tony Duhon, who is present. And I printed your report just in case, but. Sure.
Give you a break, Brad.
Yes.
Good afternoon. So we're gonna start off with, animal control, the work orders for last month. There were calls for 12 cats, 30 dogs, 8 calls for traps, animal traps to be caught, and, also 8 dead animals. 10 dogs were taken in. 12 cats were taken in. Total number of animals in the shelter at this point in time is 8 cats, 7 dogs. We just replaced the exhaust fan, I think last week.
Thank you, Wesley.
Yeah. I went over there to help them and it was like, my goodness. But anyway, so that's been taken care of, getting ready for the summer for the animals got fresh air. So code enforcement, at this point in time, we had 2 trash and rubbish violations, 15 tall grass. 1, that's a correction there, the mayor corrected me on that. A diseased tree, but it's actually deceased because it's a dead tree. It's just a little humor. But anyway, 4 junk vehicles, actually we got those towed away last week. That's on Stute Street, and we're moving forward. I don't want to say rapidly, but smoothly to pursue to continue to get those junk vehicles off of properties. Flood management was kind of slow this last month. We only decided 3 baseline elevations. In the permit department, we had last month 4 new residential permits, 2 commercial altars, 10 electrical, 4 gas, 4 mechanical, 4 plumbing, 1 swimming pool, and 2 demos. Those demos are at 564 North Avenue G and 914 Loss Avenue. In the planning and zoning, we are still in the process of working on a re-subdivide that we processed last month. It's still going on. And 3 zoning determinations. Stormwater monthly inspections. If you're not quite sure or if you want to know what that is, we're to do inspections monthly on the flow or the stormwater that actually starts. We start on the east side of Crowley, which is Bayou Blanc, Avenue, I want to say that's Avenue O, which is about where the property line, the city right of way is, and we go all the way up to Hoyt. The center ditch, we start at 5th Street. That center ditch actually goes all the way up to Conrad Drive. And then we also have the north drainage ditch that is the interstate. We do that on a monthly basis. And we do reports on that.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Tony, how many houses have been torn down since we had that very meeting over here with, who was it? Right, and everybody else is here.
I'm glad you asked that question. I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah.
How many have been torn down?
That I don't have at this point in time. I wanna say I sent something last month on that. I just don't quite remember that total.
Well, I would like to have it if possible for our next meeting.
Sure.
Thank you.
No problem.
Tony, the two, locations you have available, were those properties on the condemnation, list that we approved, or? these
No,
separate?
neither one of them are on the list.
Okay. All right, that's all you have? Appreciate you being here, thank you. All right, on the action items, a request of Chief Rousseau, Chief Abear, to approve an appropriation from the general fund for the police department's traffic enforcement detail, TED budget line item, and referral of others back to the Revenue and Finance Committee for budget amendments. So have a second, Mr. Wilbridge. Discussion? Chief, if you want to enlighten us on the reason for the needed action item.
Sure. When we created the TED program a few years back, the main goal was to try to help on our accidents. We used to average about 300 a year. Now we're over 4, maybe even 5. We had like 48 last month. A lot of those accidents are due to rolling stop signs, or just rolling the stop signs, not paying attention. Speeding where somebody pulls out, didn't have time to see the car. So we have been focused, some in the city, some on a lot on the interstate. It's been, as you can see over the past few months, the guys have been writing a lot of citations. A lot of that is due to them working more. The more that the guys get proactive, the more that they are willing to come out and work. It's just that they're keeping themselves busy now. And it's reflecting in the numbers, of course. Although it hadn't brought down the traffic accidents like I was hoping just yet. I've run some numbers over this last month. I've also we issued over 1,000 citations, and I was kind of curious because I had a lot of people asking me, or people, as far as for how many of that is in the city people that live here. So I was curious, and I checked, and out of those 1,000 citations, over 1,000 citations we issued, 106 actually lived in the city. Now keep in mind that our criminal arrest, our shoplifting and stuff like that is also in that numbers. And we also issue citations if you're involved in an accident and if we can see a clear-cut violation, it's supposed to write the citation. So out of those 40 that we worked a month, about 20 of those probably local citizens here, and then about another 30 or 40, so it's through criminal arrest. So when you take all that, actually we only issue about 50 citations to actually people that live here in the city over this past month. So I do believe the program is working. I think our citizens know, pay attention, slow down. Right now, it's what we have, and it's people coming into the city not paying attention, not slowing down. But for the most part, I think our citizens are in that. During my campaign, that was probably 95% of the complaints I received was speeders up and down their neighborhoods. This program is definitely important to do. We have to slow the traffic down, have them paying attention. When you do a rolling stop, I know a lot of times people frown upon a rolling stop, but when you pull up to a stop sign and you just do a quick rolling look, those little blinders on your car just that split second that you look, the car can be on the other side. So if you come to a complete stop, that car comes out of that blind spot, you actually see it. But if you do a rolling stop, it's very dangerous too. It's just as dangerous as running through it because you will not see everything that you need to see. So the guys are enforcing that too. But I was given a budget. Normally, when the program first set out, we had like 120 grand put in that line item, but for the officers to be working for overtime. For one reason or another, it went down to 30. We worked at a lot more than 30. We probably about 60, 70 grand over right now. But the reason being is because I had officer salaries from us being short that I'm able to use, so I wasn't that concerned about it. But the more that the guys are working it now, I'm not comfortable spending any more of that revenue, so I'm asking that y'all place 120,000, one to cover the expenditures that we already had in overtime, and also to get us through the year.
Chief, do you have a number for the amount we've collected in revenue? Because the budget we had for revenue from TED was $100,000. And what have we collected this year, this fiscal year so far?
So, yes, I do. So far as March, we collected 247,000 in that particular line. That's just the traffic enforcement detail.
And that would be for basically February collection through March 1st?
Yeah, since September to March 1st.
Because on your...
Now, that's not the new month that I just gave y'all.
Right, so we're looking at another 889 citations that were issued.
Correct. So there's more. And then I've also got with the prosecutor on it too. There was an issue about, if you don't pay your ticket, it needs to be turned over to the DMV for them to flag your driver's license. So a lot of these out-of-towners, it wasn't happening, but we're moving forward to make sure that those licenses get tagged, that they hadn't paid their violations, to where when they go to renew that license, it's gonna be tagged out to where they have to make it good. So you're gonna start seeing a bigger revenue coming in. You know, I mean, we're not basically doing it for the money, but the main thing is to slow the traffic down. Yeah. Of course, there is, fines that include in that.
Sure. I have a question. I just want to make sure that I'm clear, because I just heard him ask you, we had another 889, but is that 889 all through the TED? Just for the-
That's correct.
That's all through, that's all TED citations for the month?
Correct.
Gotcha.
The 130 something is from patrol, the guys on patrol, writing citation while they're looking at the school zone or something. And also the TED program, we don't just restrict it to the interstate. One of y'all may get complaints about speeders in the area, so we'll put them working TED in there. We may have calls about, they constantly blowing stop signs somewhere, so we may work a few hours of TED in that area that we've been getting heavy complaints on. And I mean, if they go and work it and they don't see too much, they'll move,
So where does the money that comes in from the TED citations, where does it actually go?
It basically goes into general fund.
General fund.
Yeah, we don't money doesn't go back to the police department, it basically goes into general funds.
All funds that, whether the code enforcement writes a citation or recreation charges for whatever it is, it all goes to the general fund. Because that's where the money comes from, the general fund, to appropriate funds in the set budget. And then as the year goes, if those certain departments and or line items need more money, then that's what this is, asking to appropriate more money. So, it all goes into the general fund. So what the chief is asking for is to appropriate some of the revenue from citations back to the program to be able to pay for the officers to work the program, to continue writing the citations.
Continue the program through
Right.
the rest of the budget year.
I was just thinking, maybe from September through March, y'all had 250,000? Is that what you said? So
Correct.
500,000 potentially for the year, that you're asking for 120,000. I know he's been asking for camera systems for a year now since I've been here. Why wouldn't a program like this help pay for camera systems that are needed in the city of Crowley?
And we can.
I mean, not just appropriating the money he needs to work the TED program, but to benefit the police department with things of that sort.
So I'll caution you, because of experience, past experience, I'll caution you not to dedicate or count on too much from citation revenue, whether it's TED or any citations, because it's not guaranteed. Those officers are not required at this point to work it. They are basically signing up to work it, they're volunteering to work it. And at one point, there wasn't enough officers to work those details and keep up with the calls in the city. So if you look at the TED program previously, it was down. They didn't write this many tickets. And so now it's on an upswing, but I would caution you not to dedicate too much of the funds from any kind of revenue from any department really, because it's not guaranteed, besides taxes, property taxes.
Is it better
stuff
to do
like
it
that.
on a percentage and not an amount?
I think this is the better way to do it, to appropriate as needs. We can set a budget. At the beginning of the budget, we set the budget on, here's how much we give you for TED overtime, or for whatever it may be.
It could just build up, you know, and.
Right, and then we
And
come
then
back
I
later.
can come and ask for the cameras, we definitely don't wanna hear more anything, because look, that program could stop tomorrow, we don't know.
Right.
The goal is to bring the traffic citations down, when the guys, eventually it's gonna come a time where the guys get out there, they're just not gonna come across that many citations, to where the program won't fund itself basically, so then it'll be time to shut it down, and we reach our goal. That's our real goal is to,
Deter
Right.
the traffic.
Look, every time that an accident happens, a big percentage of that is, you know, we have injuries. Those injuries is what we're trying to prevent. And, when you look at the financial side, it goes on the insurance, which drives the insurance costs up. So, I mean, but most important, you know, is if we can prevent a big number of those people from getting hurt by preventing the accident. And all that's supposed to do is drive error, not paying attention.
All right. Any other discussion or questions from Chief? And Chief, just state the amount that you're seeking is 120,000?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Additional 120, because you said there was 30?
Well,
Yes.
whatever's budgeted now, you don't have to deal with. He's asking to appropriate 120,000 from general fund to the TED program.
And that should finish out the year. You know, it's gonna cover the overage that we went also provided. And I'll do the same thing, you know, me and the mayor had discussed it, you know, we're gonna try to go back to what we did years ago, where you just put X amount in there, and then we work it. And if we run out, we can always come back, you know. We just don't wanna put too much money in that line item. That's what was happening before, because a lot of money was going in there, and the chief does have the, he can move money around if he doesn't spend it, you know what I mean? Look, if there's money left over, I'm okay with giving it back. I'm a very conservative person. Y'all see it as we move along.
Yes. Thank you. We'll keep you on that line. Okay, all in favor? Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
have one- He's not conservative, he's a tightwad.
Yeah, that's even better.
I'm the only one.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Ms. Sandy, you're not on the committee,
Oh, I'm sorry.
so you can wait that next week. All right, next we go to discussion items. I'm sorry, Steve.
Once again, we're going back into the previous with the recreation, which is, and I use the term revenue sharing, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that's one pot of money that'll never dry up. As long as people are driving, you're gonna get traffic tickets. And I mean, it's to a point now where it's starting to be monotonous that chief even have to come to this council for, really his money. So I'm hoping that in the future that when we do this budget, that we appropriate enough, whether we put, call it a slush fund or whatever you want to call it, that he can basically go into, and I would, beg to differ if there's something that he can just go in at his discretion to say, well, I want to do this, that, and the other. But if you have this type of, pot that he can go into, and give us an accountable, I mean, every time something's taken out, give us accountability on it. I don't think we need to be, every time he needs money, to come in front of us begging. I mean, because basically he's begging for something that's already, he already made. Okay, some of us want to say it, but you don't know how to say it. So I'm not on the committee, but I just want to just.
No, it's separate, and remember that this budget that we're in now was from the prior administration. I think they were writing a maximum maybe 400 citations in the whole year. And we're doubling that per month now. So it's a lot of differential in the expenses and the revenue. Okay.
I just want to say, and I know I'm not on the committee now, I apologize for the premature vote, but I sat for 2.5 hours today in this courtroom for city traffic, and it was standing room only. These people could not pay. They got citations, they got bench warrants, they had to take out layaway plans for $300 and $400, and they were cited for contempt on every charge they were giving, and they couldn't afford to pay this. And this concerns me, that people that are being cited are, they're breaking the law, but we've got to be careful. These people, no one, very few could pay today. And I just want to make that statement. I know you have a budget.
We just can't have a law, a law of the city.
No, I agree with you, but I do want to ask you, all the illegal parking on 4th Street and 3rd Street and by the parks, are any of these people getting citations? Or is it just the people in West Crowley or on Northern?
Well, like I said, the majority of the citations, approximately 50 out of the 1,000 that we issued from the city. So most of them
Because there's a lot of
from the
illegal
city.
parking, and I did not hear any illegal parking today.
They have issued parking citations, they've been towing vehicles. I mean, it kind of comes in on the complaints, or if they notice something. We kind of got the motto where we don't look the other way anymore.
Well, I've had to stop for children on Levy Park on 3rd Street, running into the street because the visitors there are parking cross traffic, and then I had that discussion.
So going back, do you not, at one point you telling me that these people can't pay, but at another point you telling me that they're.
No, what I'm saying is the law is the law.
Yes, ma'am.
Whether it's illegal parking or whether it's,
Those same people that are parking are gonna be up here telling you they can't afford to pay it either. The same stuff you heard earlier.
what I'm saying is I didn't hear any citations for illegal parking on 3rd Street or by the parks.
Ms. Marks, you do understand that a lot of visitors to 3rd Street are not from the historic district?
Well,
So,
there's a lot of
the-
people that
the-
came to court today that
Yes,
were
ma'am.
from Florida and other states.
Right, I understand that, but, and I think we're kind of getting off key here, but, you know, at first you're talking about people that can't pay the afford to pay the fines, but they broke the law. And then you're saying, are they getting written at Levy Park, or is it just West Crowley and Northern? And I'm making the point that a lot of the people who utilize Levy Park do not live around Levy Park.
Well, the law
I mean,
is the law.
they park there because they come from other parts of the city, so your point about where they're from, they're still breaking the law, you're correct.
Yeah, the law is
And
the law.
so, maybe that's something that the chief can work on, is
And
writing
we had talked
citations.
about last time, because I did have the conversation, you remember? And you told me, the law is the law.
Yeah, and we'll make sure they work it, you know, and the guys have picked it up, you know, just from patrol, they issued 132 citations, that's not, you know.
Yeah.
I've worked there for so long, normally they write about 30 tickets a month, so.
I'm just worried
Chief,
about
if
the
you
children
can,
running in the street.
Maybe have them work Levy Park, and Ms. Marks would like to see the illegal parking controlled.
Yeah, we gotta protect the children.
Right. Oh, no doubt, we'll definitely work.
So I just wanna say one thing, and I just wanna make sure that I'm clear, because we're talking about people not being able to afford the citations, but the police department don't set the price. We voted on raising the citation prices as a council, so it's not the chief's fault what the prices are, it's ours.
No, and I pulled that news where we did vote, and we talked about that last time, and it's not the fine, it's the court costs.
Yeah.
You don't control it.
And I
You
don't.
know, it's the court, well, if they end up in court, and they don't know that.
You know, and I really don't even control whether or not the officer gives a violation or not. We leave it up to officer discretion. You know, sometimes their excuses or they might have a reason that the officer felt compassion or something where they do have that option not to issue a citation. But, you know, the more proactive the guys get, the more, you know, it's kind of like yes, you know, I mean, I'm sorry, I ran for this position, I do understand the heat that I do get, I'm okay with getting heat for it, you know, I just want to explain why we do some things that we do. You know, we take on this gun violence and different things, you know, and it's not like you can't sit there and profile, racially profile, just stop the cars that you want to stop. You have to wait for violations, you know, and now our guys don't look the other way. If they see something, they go stop it. If it looks like they may have to continue that investigation when they make the stop, they may do so and find drugs, guns, or what have you. But you're not gonna do it if you just sit in the car and look straight, you know. That's not what our guys are being paid for. You know, when y'all gave that increase, you know, I told you our guys are gonna be proactive, you know, we're gonna start doing our job. And I'm mad.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, under discussion, consider adopting an ordinance prohibiting the use of campers and recreational vehicles for occupancy, except during the emergency, declaration of an emergency. Well, what we have, as I understand from Mr. Duhon, is that if someone is living in a camper or RV, we're able to turn off the electricity and the water. But individuals that are continuing to live in those movable homes, if you will, and it's a public safety hazard because, of course, with no running water, the issue with sewer, and that's being dumped illegally, and among other things. So it's becoming more of a safety hazard throughout our city and more common occurrence. And when we try to inform these people that they can't live there, it seems that we don't have something in our ordinance that is more specific. And I'd like Ms. Landry, hopefully, to maybe look into adopting an ordinance or amending our existing ordinance.
So I have
looked at our code of ordinances, and there is no specific provision in our code of ordinances that expressly prohibits someone from living in a camper. There are other ordinances that can be interpreted and used to prevent someone from living in a camper. But we don't have an ordinance that says that you can't live in a camper. We have adopted the state sanitary code in our ordinances. State sanitary code says that anything that's occupied as a residence has to have a bathroom facilities and a sewer hookup, a legal sewer hookup. So it is a code violation, and you know there are things that we can do about it. But we really should, if it's something that we want to prevent, we really should have a specific ordinance that expressly prohibits people from living in recreational vehicles and campers. I did pull some sample ordinances from some other cities, from Cary, Crow, Happyville, I think maybe Bridge has one as well. So we'll take a look at those and we can get a model ordinance together and submit it to the council and get that done.
Thank you very much.
Brother, now, this ordinance was done during Hurricane Louis. Okay, that's how far back it goes. During Hurricane Lily, we suspended the ordinance because of, well, people, houses were out of place, didn't have electricity or whatever. But, to answer the question, and it's already an ordinance. You know, I don't know if it needs to be tweaked or what, but it's already an ordinance.
Mr. Martin, it is not an ordinance. Mr. Landry just explained that we do not have an ordinance expressing that you cannot live in a camper. You may be confusing the resolution that was passed probably last year, I think it was, which is statewide, that you are allowed to live in a camper after a declared storm for a certain amount of time, but we don't have a city ordinance currently that says you cannot live in a camper.
Well, I thought we did, because I just thought about doing Hurricane Lily. But if not, well, let's do something with it. But I always thought that the city ordinance, we had an ordinance that prohibited it.
And step on the same mindset, tell us something to the ordinance, and as Mr. Landry said, it's not specific to that. So we'll see what we can review and hopefully approve something soon.
Well, maybe we need to have a meeting, special meeting, just to do what the legislature is trying to do with the state constitution. We got rules on that book. I read the book a while back, going back to the cowboy days.
Yeah, we have a lot to do. All right, is any other business come before the Public Safety Committee? Committee recess.
Thank you, sir. Public Buildings, Alderman Wilrich, please, sir.
Public Buildings Committee convened, we had a quorum under action items to approve the request of the National Association of University Women to coordinate in sponsoring the annual pageant by waiving the fees for the use of the MAK Center for May 18th, 2024. With the agreement to clean after the event, the NAUW is a nonprofit organization that will also provide proof of insurance. I so move.
Second.
There's moved by me with something by Mr. Dick Landry. Well, I think first of all, I gotta remove myself because my wife wanted the committee. So I would not be able to get a vote in the thing.
I can make the motion and someone else can second.
Motion by Mr. Dick Landry and second by Brad. Any discussion?
First of all, I want to welcome the NAUW ladies over here. A lot of people don't really have a glimpse of what these ladies do. You know, they've been taking care of people, kids, and they've been doing it way before I got on the council, and we just happened to lose one of their prestigious members, Ms. Steve. And I wanna, thank NAUW for the tribute that y'all gave this people. It was very touching. One thing she always did say, if anybody gonna do it, NAUW is gonna do it. And they're trailblazers in the city. And they have a special, remarkable lady out there. Ms. Proctor, I want to congratulate you on being nominated. What was it, remarkable lady?
Yes.
You always be my remarkable lady. I just want to let you know that. But NAUW have been in existence for a while, and they are who they are, and they do what they do. So, even though I'm not on the committee, I just want to let y'all know that I appreciate the fact that, because they got some big nothing and I drew and, I would say that I populated the building that you see. So congratulations to y'all, and good luck with y'all, Patrick.
I'd like to pass emerald, Mrs. Zora Proctor, First Lady, Doctor. You have all these titles, so I think, do you want to come up to the mic and say something, Ms. Proctor?
To our honorable mayor, members of the council, all of the stakeholders and officers, I would certainly like to thank our mayor and the council for giving the National Association of University Women Incorporated the pleasure of making investments in our children with the pageant. I think we may have about 18, 17 or so contestants. And this is an opportunity that we have to invest in our children, and so you are making an investment. Thank you so very much. Our children have gained self-esteem from this pageant. All of them have to display a talent. And some of these talents are not developed yet. So this is an opportunity for them to develop their talent, go before a big crowd of people, speak, perform, whatever they have to do. So it's a beginning in many of their lives, starting at what age, Jackie? 4 to 11, 4 to 11. So it's a beginning. Thank you, Mayor, again. Thank you, City Council, for all that you do. And remember, I'm a community volunteer, a professional volunteer, that's what they say, professional volunteer. And I love what I'm doing in Crowley. I wouldn't do it any other place. And thank you so much for your service and what you do for Crowley. God bless you.
Thank you, Ms. Proctor. Thank you all for what
Any more discussion coming before?
Yeah, we'll vote.
Y'all vote yet?
No, we didn't.
Can I show of hands? All in favor? Nays, you got the same right? Nays would.
Ayes. All in favor?
Real nervous.
Any more discussion we come from public buildings?
Ms. Proctor, thank you for giving us an hour and 25 minutes. She said, I give y'all an hour. And then she says, I'm going. Thank you.
There being none, sir, we recess.
Thank you, Alderman Wilridge. Let's see, insurance and personnel, Alderwoman Marks, please.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. All right, we do have a quorum, and we open the Insurance and Personnel Committee agenda. We don't have any action items, but I did want to report that the annual pre-renewal review by Assured Partners for the City of Crowley was held Wednesday, the 3rd. I want to make a correction, it says this week, last week. The agenda was to review the executive summary, benchmark analysis, medical claims and enrollment summary, and a renewal forecast and the strategy as recommended by Assured Partners. The target date for renewal with Assured Partners is May the 1st of this year. Also, note that the insurance fair will be held in September 1st of this year for employees' annual review of their insurance. Is there any discussion at this time?
So September 1st is a Sunday.
There's no specific date.
The 1st of September.
Yeah, that's a review date. Yep, it's here, thank you.
And this is a health insurance coverage
Right, that's right. So what we have every year to review employee packages.
for the Assured Partners.
Yes, but
It's not even involved.
That's the carrier, that's
Yeah.
the insurance broker, thank you. I couldn't think of that name.
Thanks.
That's the broker that deals with it. Stephen Stefanski is our
Okay.
agent that deals with it, yeah.
You're welcome. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? No further business, and the committee recesses.
Thank you, ma'am. Community Economic Development, Alderwoman Chasson, please.
Thank you. The Community and Economic Development Committee will come to order, and we have a quorum present. A couple of things just to remind you about. The Rice City Car and Tractor Show is this Saturday, April 13th, along with the Crowley Professional Women's Club Spring Market. And the market time is from 9 until 3. I assume that the car show has the same hours. For Crowley Main Street, the Art and Wine Show will be Saturday, May 4th. That's from 5 until 8 in downtown Crowley. From the chamber, a couple of things to remind you of. Ribbon cutting and anniversary celebration at First Bank tomorrow. That's at 2 p.m. They will be hosting a business after hours beginning at 5 p.m. The Golf Classic for the Acadia Parish Chamber is April 12th. They have a ribbon cutting at Ramsey Tactical on the 19th. And the annual banquet that is being called Acadia Parish Honors with a new format is May 9th. Something just to mention is that we worked with Louisiana Economic Development to arrange a location for the SBA's disaster recovery unit to set up as they work to provide assistance to those involved in our crawfish industry. They are available Monday through Saturday to answer questions regarding their services, and they're in the Wells Fargo building. Crowley Garden Club, a citywide cleanup is held in preparation for the Cleanest City contest. Much appreciation goes to Mayor Chad Monzo, Valerie Myers, Street Commissioner Wesley Jacobs and his staff, Crowley Garden Club, JMU students, and anyone else who helped with the cleanup efforts. Judges were in Crowley on April 2nd. Crowley Garden Club Vice President and our Councilman Sammy Reggie was notified a couple of days ago that Crowley was the district winner once again. We will move on to the statewide competition again this year. Statewide judges are expected back at our city in late April. We are also participating with the organization Keep Louisiana Beautiful. Their Love the Boot Week, which is scheduled for April 20th through the 28th. Another citywide cleanup will be held that Saturday, April 20th, and we'll have more details on that.
Katie, in reference to the cleanup process and Cleanest City, on this past Monday, the day before
Yes.
the judging, Crowley Kindergarten,
Okay.
some of the teachers got together and they had some of those kids out there and they cleaned up around the kindergarten. They didn't go out on the streets and stuff, but they did clean up around the kindergarten. So I thought it was really, really awesome that some of those teachers took the initiative to get with some of those kids on the Monday that they were off of school, and they really helped out on that deal.
Thank you for reminding me of that, and I know that's something that we've talked about, and we'll get with them again to ask if those children are out there holding banners, welcoming the judges or something when they come back into town. That's always a good thing to happen. So, West Crowley beautification, their community cleanup continues, and there's no report from the historic district. So is there anything else that we need to discuss? With that, the committee will recess.
Thank you, ma'am. Revenue and Finance. Alderman Lachele, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The Revenue and Finance Committee convenes, we have a quorum present. The first thing we need to do is amend the agenda to include an item under the action items. This action item is going to be to approve the appropriation from the general fund to the police department's traffic enforcement detail, TED, but budget line item in the amount of $120,000. We'll have to take a vote. Alderman Ashby?
Yes.
Yes. Alderman Core?
Yes.
Alderman Morton?
Yes.
Alderman Chasson?
Yes.
And myself, as chairman, yes. Amendment approved. Okay. We have no reports to read out. On action items, we are here to approve the appropriation from the general fund to the police department's TED program, budget line in the amount of $120,000. And I so move.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Okay, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. We have no discussion items. If there's no other items come before the committee recess.
Alderman Lachele, if you will. There's no discussion items on the agenda, but you've all been handed a packet. I want to just tell you all that our city clerk has been busting her rear end. She actually brings work home with her to get this stuff done. But her and Christy have made huge improvements and leadway getting to the point we're at now. You actually have some numbers in front of you that's hot off the press, literally, right before this meeting. And she got this done for you guys. In the past 15 months, this is the first set of numbers that we've received. And I want to publicly thank Chantel, our clerk, for really getting in there on her hands and knees, just really working towards the finish line for this. Christy actually called me a few days ago and said that we're much closer than we had been, and that Chantel is amazing, was her words. So if you have any questions or concerns, some of you have visited with Chantel recently since she's been hired back. She's open to visit with her if you have any questions or concerns. She is expecting you will have some questions of these financials. Some of it may be hard to understand or confusing. If you have any questions, please give her a call. I will ask that if you want to go meet with her, please feel free to do so. Maybe give her a call first and ask to set up a meeting with her, a date and time with her, so that she can continue working towards our final numbers. And soon we'll be working on a budget, a new budget. I'll tell you that to work on a budget, my plans are not me and her. Each individual department head will be included and required to meet with them to go over their budget, find out what their needs are. And I would like to invite a council member or two from time to time to some of these meetings if you're interested, to maybe weigh in. If maybe you're maybe on your committee, public safety or whatever it may be, street department, public buildings, and and be in there to discuss it. Now, we can't have more than 2 council members at a time, so we'll schedule those also. But I think it's important that everybody be involved, as many people as possible, in the decision-making here, so that, one, we all understand what we've got and what our goals are, and what we want to try to accomplish. But these department heads haven't really received a budget or numbers to work with in quite a few years now. And so it's unfair to them to try and run their departments without knowing what they have. So I am extremely excited that we have this stack of papers right here. I encourage you all to look at it, and if you have any questions, please reach out to Chantel. She's more than happy to visit with you on this.
Mr. Mayor, I noticed on the cover sheet that's in front of the packet, the second sales tax fund, the salary fund is stated at 1.5. It should reflect just 1/2 for fund 4.
That is correct. That is correct. It's a 1/2 cent.
As opposed to 1.5.
Correct. The salary fund, yeah, that is a typo. You are correct. So y'all make a note of that. Sales tax 1.5 cent fund, and then sales tax 1.5 cent salary fund. The 400 fund is 1/2 cent, not 1.5 cents.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Chantel. This is, I wish this has been long overdue.
Jesus Christ, yes.
We appreciate it.
Anything else?
I wanna compliment the chief on something. His offices, I guess that was last Saturday morning, the electricity went out for about an hour or so. And when the electricity goes out, I'll wake up, you know, I mean, I hear something and like my phone or something makes a noise. And looking out the window for the longest, the police were all over. I mean, it was dark out there, but the police, you could see them, they were everywhere. And my wife got up and she says, "What's going on?" I said, "The police are all over because there's no electricity, you know." So I want to compliment you on that. Those guys were on top of it, you know. Because when the lights are out, you don't know who's out there. But the police were out there. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, buddy, good luck in whatever you do. Nice to meet you.